Hi there, it's Natasha and thank you so much for joining me today. I'm going to start off by showing you these three kind of corner edge dies. Now these could create like a really cute pocket that you can slip things into, or they can just be decorative corners for the edges of your cards. Yeah, you can do anything with them, but immediately when I saw this one, I knew what I wanted to do with it. So I'm starting off with a piece of watercolor paper and I'm cutting it to be 4 by 2 3/4 inches. Then I have some shaded lilac and some wilted violet in the oxides, and I'm covering kind of the whole panel in the shaded lilac because I want it to get kind of gradually lighter towards one end. So I'm definitely working on the right hand side being kind of deeper, darker in color. And you'll notice that I have a wee piece of white paper there that I'm using so that my fingers don't get in the oxide ink because they definitely will leave marks. And then I just used the wilted violet sponge just to go in a stripe across the bottom, and then I blend it into the rest of the panel. So I'm doing the second panel again now, and I have a little piece of low-tack tape stuck to the back of my fingers, and all I'm doing is exactly the same with that stripe of wilted violet, and then I blend it all in with the shaded lilac. So that gives it hopefully a pretty nice gradient. Here is my card base, and I have protected my work surface and the inside of the card just with a piece of copy paper, and I'm going around the outside of it with the wilted violet just to create another layer without actually having to add another layer of paper. So obviously I am only doing the outside, I don't need to do the inside because that will all be covered up in the end. So there you go, you can see that's my card base done and dusted. And now I have some, this is just temporary removable adhesive, and I'm putting a little bit on the back of each panel just so I can place them out where I want them to go. The panel that I'm sticking them onto is, I think, about 4 by 5 1/4, and I think I trimmed down those little panels a little bit more, the purple panels, so that they would fit nicely with a little border around them. And then I have the stamp set here, and I'm using the words Happy Birthday, lining them up on an acrylic block, and I'm going to stamp that directly in the middle. So I just put down those purple panels so that I could see where I needed to stamp. And I recently got some of the Catherine Paula little minis, and so I'm using the purple color, I think it's called Grape Crush or something like that, and I'm using that to stamp. Now, because I hadn't used these inks before, I just stamped on that scrap piece of paper to make sure that it was going to stamp nicely, and I like the results. These are really good inks for stamping in, and so I am going to stamp it in the middle of those two panels that we blended earlier. And these are the mini ink pads. I have some of the larger size ones as well, but I really like the lower price point of Catherine Paula's mini ones, so that's what I went with for these ones. And my main inspiration for this video was when I saw Alina's new release, and these are in her new release, and I just honestly saw this die straight away and thought, I know what I'm going to do with it. I actually wanted to do something slightly different, but anyhow, this is kind of how it ended up, and I really like it as well. I have some kind of steely grey cardstock here. This is glitter cardstock, and it doesn't shed or anything, and I have gone ahead and cut out 4 of that die, and now I'm going to adhere them down. So this is the matte medium that I always talk about, and this is what I use to fill my glue bottle with, but for the minute this time round I'm just using a makeup sponge and dotting it on the back of those little intricate die cuts. So I just hold it down for a second and then it's good to go. So you'll see here that I'm actually going to put 2 of them side by side, and what I originally wanted to do, and what I might still do, is use 4 of them and create kind of one big doily pattern. If you just put all 4 around, and they would create the most gorgeous intricate circle. So that was my first thought, but then I kind of started doing this and really liked that as well, so I got a bit sidetracked, but that's okay. So definitely give that a go. Put them into one big round doily kind of pattern, and that would look beautiful. So here I am just working out the placement of where I want the bottom ones to be, because I obviously want it to match up with the top one that I've already done. And so now I've got 3 on, and I'm doing the very last one. These makeup sponges are from Ali as well. I will link everything down below, including everything to Alina's store, if you are looking for anything. So I'm just going to turn the panels over and trim off the tiny wee bits that are overhanging on the edge. It's not too much, but enough to tidy them up and make it all fit on the card nicely. And this next trick is to make life a whole lot easier. Alina has just released this lovely white foam, fun foam, which is 3mm thick. And then she has released these kind of sticky sheets. So I have cut mine down. In the package, I think you get 20 in the package. So there's heaps. And I just have a big piece of foam here. I think this is half of one of the sheets that you get. And I am putting the adhesive on both sides of it. So this is just one sheet of the adhesive that I cut in half, and I'm putting it on both sides of this piece of foam, and this makes life so much easier. I do this to quite a bit of my foam, and I just have it sitting there ready to go because I find this the quickest way instead of doing it as I'm going when I'm card making. And so I'm just going to cut out a rectangle that will fit nicely behind my card front. And then that way, all I have to do is peel it off and stick it down, and it's good to go. And then the same when I'm going to adhere it down to my card, I just peel off the other side and stick it down. So it does make it super easy and super convenient. And these sheets are just like all the other adhesives that Alina has. So they are super sticky. And here I'm just going to cut down some of those foam to fit behind our little blended panels because I want those popped up as well. So again, it's so easy. You just take off one side of the release paper and pop it down. And then on the card, I take off the other side and line them up ready to go. And I turn my card around each way to make it easier for me to line them up. And then just to finish off this card, the last thing I thought it needed is these cute little purple gems here. These are also from Alina's store, and they're the perfect purple. I am going to add some tiny little dots of glue, and I'm just popping them on using my finger. I honestly just find this the quickest way to do it, but you might have a jewel picker up or something like that that you can also use as well. But yeah, this was the final touch, and I really like how this card turned out. I think you could definitely do this in many other colors or any other colors. But that is our card for today. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate all of the thumbs up and the comments that you guys give me. And I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Thanks. Bye.